Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. And let's continue in this video with this assembly of this legendary V6 4-liter engine, which I bought as a failed engine for $100 for this Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel to take it apart together, learn every single bolt and component function, and maybe we can discover why this engine failed. So far we removed only few little parts. So let's continue here on the front. Ideally we will be able to remove a lot in this video, so let's maybe start with the part which is not attached, and this is a water inlet. People in the manuals still call it water inlet. Right here where you look in, there will be a thermostat attached. Here we are missing a rubber o-ring. There will be a rubber o-ring to make seal, and this o-ring is still here. Right, so if you ever work with this will be ideally removed. If you are putting on this water inlet, always lubricate this so you don't damage that o-ring while you are basically sliding it on it this way, right? If you look at it, if I'm going backwards, this is kind of hard. If I use the silicone lubricant, the rubber o-ring will be not damaged and it will go easy. So this is called water inlet. If you ever ordering this part on this 1GR-FE engine, this is how it's called. There are multiple outlets. Some of them will be going for the throttle body because they are cooled or heated. This brings us to this part, which is basically just a part to run the serpentine belt and power the water pump. Again, it should be called coolant pump, but from the past, if you are ordering this from Toyota or aftermarket, everybody will call it water pump. So this one is, here I see Toyota and ASIN. Let's clean it with the brush. And this assembly might be slow, but the reason for it is that I really want to make sense of this engine to everybody. After that short cleaning, hopefully you can see the logos. I'm not sure if this one was replaced with the OEM part. This engine, I remember I was told, was removed from the vehicle at 280,000 miles. Purely theoretically it's possible. It's still original, but I have no proof of it. Now, how you check if your water pump or coolant pump is okay? Well, you try here on that pulley to see if there is any play in that bearing. There is a seal because it's a rotating part. Behind that is the propeller which keeps moving that coolant, and you will check for a play. This one, ladies and gentlemen, has zero play. I cannot do any wiggle on it. There's absolutely zero play. There might be surface rust because it was exposed to the rain. It was sitting in the yard, this engine. So we can see all kinds of rust all over, but there's absolutely zero play. I will bet there's nothing wrong with that water pump whatsoever. And it works absolutely perfectly. And it was not the reason why this engine was removed from its service. If you look here, if you want to remove that water pump, this idler pulley let me give you a sound check. Do you hear how this one is not making any bearing sound? This one is totally fine too. I will show you the other one right here. This one is noisy, right? That bearing which is inside is partially dried out. What's about this one? Totally fine. It's a little click, but it's not making that sound. So this one, this is a tensioner actually, which we will remove too. Normally there is an AC compressor right here. So to get to this one, the tensioner assembly, you have to remove the AC compressor. But that one, definitely you hear that, is dried out. These two are good. This one is the best. Pump. Just the note, this is great design. The previous V6 engine, the water pump was powered by the timing belt. So to replace the water pump, you had to do entire timing belt job. This is way easier and less costly for you as the owner to replace the water pump if it fails, if it starts leaking, than on the previous 3.4 liters. So is this 12? No, it's a 14. I am back with the right tool. And here we go. So, always extremely important. Don't just let go of the washers and stuff like that. Always collect it, because this is basically a washer which is for the dust seal, and it protects this bearing which you see here. This bearing cannot be lubricated. These come as a sealed ones. And this is the bolt. Both sides have these shields to protect the bearing from dust getting inside. If your goal in your service will be a removal of this coolant pump or water pump, you will easily just remove this pulley, because there is one more bolt hidden behind that. I'm disassembling this engine with you, so I will not do that. I will go and show you how to remove that entire tensioner assembly. And I'm pretty sure you will agree that normally Toyota has incredible design, but this one is, as a tensioner, as a belt tensioner, it's a little bit odd and not the greatest design ever. So it's again 14s. Can you say it correctly? Yes. I have a 114. Here is another one. Here is another one. It's all dirty, but are nicely coming off, all those bolts. And I think I see two more. Here is a longer. And here we go. This just fell on the ground. Now look at that, my friend. This is what I wanted to show you. This is actually entire part. This is serpentine belt tensioner and its pulley, right, on 1GR-FE. Pretty interesting that they will create such a huge part just to install the tensioner, right? Now, you have to remove quite a lot of parts to get to this entire assembly. And it's also, look, it's a huge aluminum part. It's also not very cheap, you can probably imagine. And this is the first time you finally get access to every single bolt which is holding this water pump. I'm assuming it will cooperate with us like all the previous parts. That is all that dirt, remaining of that dirt, should be again the same thread. Let's see how much power it will need. Let's continue with 3.8. Here it's a 6-point because I need to grab it really good. 14mm 6-point. Let's see why that little thing didn't take it off. Oh, not so bad. Yeah, maybe the battery is getting tired. In this baby, it wasn't super tight at all. Now, the shape from the front is kind of being ruined, the picture, with this engine oil filter adapter, right? This is the 1GR-FE, where we screw that engine oil. When you remove them, there is always a little bit oil coming out of it. So here is that little drain tube where you are catching that little amount of oil. And what is this switch? So this is for oil pressure, that's correct. And it's called oil pressure switch. This is the one which measures oil pressure, and if it will drop under specified pressure, it will actually send signal with that one wire, which is right inside. You see the one pin. This will send the signal to the ECM that the oil pressure is too low, and ECM will trigger low pressure warning light in the instrument cluster. So this is responsible for that. We have only 1, 2, 3 bolts. They look like 10mm bolts holding that entire assembly. There was number 4 and maybe even number 5, but it didn't come with the engine. Okay, let's use again my little Milwaukee impact wrench, 10mm. 1, 2, and 3. 3 bolts are off. Here you can see that switch, maybe a little bit closer. This is how it attaches to the timing chain cover. You see the rubber O-ring, it's very flat. When you touch it, might be original from the manufacturer. That always should be replaced if you are working around here, because you don't want to have any leaks here. But if we are looking together, it was definitely not active leak, despite the fact the O-ring is very squished and flat. I think our logical step in taking this engine apart should be the water pump. Will you not agree? If you look closely, some of the bolts look way smaller than the other ones, will you not say? I will think it's a 10mm. This one definitely fits 10, and the other ones will be 12s. So I just wanted to bring it up to your attention, and let's go and take that baby off. Shall we start maybe with 12s? What do you say? We'll move you a little bit, create space for myself. So, these normally are not super tight, and that's definitely part where you use your torque wrench. Water pumps need to be torqued to the spec. I don't remember this one. The previous 3.4 liter was 25 Newton meters. I will have to check this one. So there's another bolt here. It was kind of hidden. That oxidation right there. Here is another one. What else you will say it's 12? This one definitely, right? Boom. 12. And maybe this one. That's right. What do you say? Will there be any coolant left? Do I need to put any catchment underneath the engine? I think this engine was kicked around and thrown around so much that there will be no coolant in it, but we'll see. So now I continue with the 10mm socket. And we will see in just a few moments how the front of 1GR-FE looks without a water pump. That's a lot of bolts, isn't it? But it makes sense, don't you think? If you want to avoid any leaks whatsoever, you better have a lot of points when it's being squished down on the surface of the timing chain cover. Look at it. It's actually falling off. Normally, these puppies are kind of stuck to the engine. There should be a metal multi-layer gasket behind it, which I bet you there will be. Look at it. Ooh, look that oxidation, which I will remove that multi-layer gasket. This is really nice part of these engines. You can see it, right? Here, look how many layers of it. So this is the real part from Toyota, as we discussed. You can see the back of that water pump. This is the propeller which keeps moving that coolant inside of the engine, and it's not electric unit like on some different makes, but it's really moved by that serpentine belt through that black pulley which you saw we removed today together. And I think we can today finish with removing this harmonic balancer. On the big engines it's a 22. If it was 4-cylinder it will be 19 socket. Let's see if this electric half drive impact wrench can remove the main bolt. If not, we will bring the pneumatic snap-on half drive. I very rarely grab my snap-on, so I will put few droplets of the oil before I will use it. I brought my hose. Here is the gun. You need to close your ears because it will get noisy here. I need to fire up the compressor, which is over there, to create most pressure. And let's see if there is any difference between pneumatic and electric. What I have it on. Max. Good. And this is the reverse. So, MG725. Show us the money. Do you see? That's how you do it when electric cannot deal with it. Despite the fact we are switching to electric, you have to keep guns like this for this kind of purpose. So you can see the bolt, the main crank bolt with that huge washer, right? That's a typical. Let's see if that, that balancer is actually completely loose. Many times they are stuck because there is a rust right here. Can you see me? Let's just check. Yes, it's recording. So there will be a rust and you have to use the puller. You have to screw it in these two holes and pull it off. This one we can see actually, I will bring you closer. The seal is right there, but there is a bunch of rust here on the back where the seal is touching the harmonic balancer. Also, you experts will immediately see that this cannot be taken off this engine, this harmonic balancer, and resoled because the rubber here, it's basically falling apart, falling off, right? It's crumbling, and this balancer might have been working, but it cannot be used anymore on different engine. This part is done. despite the fact it's extremely expensive. It's like $300. Here I will show you the detail what was hiding behind that balancer. I will stop the day here. Before we will continue filming this, I will clean this off of the camera. You don't have to be part of it. And in the next episode, we will definitely continue with removing this large chunk of aluminum, which is called front timing chain cover. You will see how many bolts are on it. There is an oil pump which is part of that cover, so it will be very interesting. But as I said, I will first clean it for you so we have better view of all those components. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumb up and stay tuned, because I will keep filming this. We will share it. We will take it apart together to every single little bolt, so everybody understands what each part has for a function, how it's called, where it belongs, and so on. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, my friend.